Alright, so on to Sarathos. Similar to Catacrom, this is pretty movement heavy. It's going to be a few new things that you haven't seen before. There's a cutscene here that you'll have to skip. You also get the rare appearance of this loading screen. So first mission, got a few things to work out about it, but when you work out those things about it, you'll quickly get a feel for how the mission's supposed to play out. So first, you can do some movement. I recommend getting out the Vulcan cannon because right here these Leviathans can get in your way, and so you'll want to shoot them to make sure that they freeze and they don't block your path. So now you're gonna have the combat bots hack these two orbs. And now what I recommend here, because there's 3 Leviathans that we want to take out, or otherwise they can knock out your bots and you'll have to revive them and it sucks. I personally recommend taking out the fusion rifle. So you could use the Hunter mine launcher or the Quasar turrets, but I do not find those to be as reliable, especially if you're going to be doing the mine clip, which only saves a couple seconds, but I'll still teach it anyways. So when you pull out the fusion rifle, 1 Leviathan, 2 Leviathans. Oh, wow, he was really far. A lot farther than usual. 3 Leviathans. And then from here, you can just wait for the door to open, or you can do a mine clip, which I'll show in a sec. When the door opens, there's going to be a ring of enemies that you'll want to kill. So, you only need to kill the first ring of enemies before the game progresses. So, I'll show that off in a second. So, as I said before, 1, 2, 3. Now if you want, you can do a mine clip right here. It might be a little bit difficult because of all the enemies in the way. I find myself to struggle with this way more than any other mine clip in the game. So if you fail it, it only saves a couple seconds. Don't worry too much about it. It only saves a tiny bit. It saves like 1 or 2 seconds because of charging over here. So kill this first ring of enemies, and you don't have to worry about any more. Pull out the fusion rifle, aim at the sky above this door, and once this dropship spawns, instantly snipe it. So next mission, Sarathos Sprint. So we're going to do our first air swing. So this is the one air swing in the run that does not require a state cancel for it to work. So yeah. The other thing to note before I show you how we do the air swing setup is that there's 2 attacks the Leviathan can do. It can either shoot a laser or shoot a projectile. It'll shoot a few projectiles at you. It doesn't really matter which of these it does. This setup will work no matter what attack it does. So I recommend pulling out the Vulcan cannon, or a weapon that you can strafe with. That way you don't charge off in a random direction. Whenever you want to charge into an attack, I always find that it's easier to charge into it if you're not using the Leviathan flail. I also recommend not charging to it with the fusion rifle because you aim a little slower when you're in first person compared to other weapons. So yeah. So first, we're going to aggravate the, we're going to piss off the Leviathan, charge into it, and then you're going to wait for it to hit you an additional 2 times. 1, 2, and boom, you're swinging. And then we're going to go onto the trigger for the end of the level. So I don't want to trigger the end of the level yet because I want to show off one more thing. This area that I just went to, if you feel like you do not have enough height on your air swing, you can always go to that spot right there. I got the first hit, but unfortunately you blocked. I was blocked from having the second and third hits. So if you feel like you don't have enough height, you can always go to that area on the right. In fact, you can actually drop, if you can end up on this bush thing right here, and you can just do a few hyper stacks to save yourself if you fall down. So the 2 main reasons why you'd ideally want to have the optimal height, well, apart from the fact that it's faster, is because you don't want the downwards facing slopes to push you into the mud, and 2, because there's a very rare chance that you might clip in between the spot where the 2 slopes meet. I cannot recreate this consistently, so I cannot confirm this next thing I'm about to say, but if this does happen to you, if you do clip through and you're underneath the ground into the Puma, you could always try doing a hyper stack and seeing if that will hit the trigger for the end of the level, although you'd probably have to be very quick. Again, I can't confirm this because I'm not able to test it due to not being able to consistently recreate it. And of course, if all this fails, you're free to just restart the mission and try again. The air swings in this game can be a bit tricky to set up, so, you know, don't feel too bad. Now, end of the level, where the Leviathans roam. drive backwards, and flail cancel, and we're going to start doing a bunch of hyperstacks. So this is a really good mission. This is a really good mission to just put your hyperstack skills to the test, because you're going to have to be really good at them, or else you're going to lose height and fall down. So once you do the flail cancel, do a bunch of hyperstacks. I would recommend angling, well, it's not just I would recommend, you should be angling Ratchet to either the left or the right. And the reason for this is because if he is completely perpendicular, when he grabs onto this ledge, he will drop it. So as you can see right now, he's hanging onto the ledge, but if I was facing completely perpendicular to the ledge, he would instantly fall. He would let go of it, despite you making no attempts to do that. So then you'd have to do a few hyperstacks to save yourself. So now once you get up here, you got two choices. You can either wrench aside. This can be a bit tricky, but you know, it's doable. Wrench aside up here, or if you don't want to do that, jump here, and then get up here. Charge, pull out the quasar turrets, or you can also do that in the next mission if you want. And yeah. Final mission, this one's easy. Command the bot to hack this orb, command the bot to hack that orb, and then place turrets around the arena. This mission is essentially an auto-scroller. You just have to wait for the bots to hack the arena. You can stand in the middle, have the silencer ready. Now, I don't recommend just like going AFK entirely. Check every now and then, because sometimes what has happened to me is a Leviathan will spawn and take out a bot, especially when they're hacking the last orb. So I just make sure to look around a little bit, make sure no Leviathans are trying to attack my bots. And now once they're onto this last orb, pay attention to this last orb. Once you see it start to turn green, you can look down and pay attention to the minimap. When you see a blue star where Ratchet is standing, you can instantly fire the silencer. So once that orb is green, look down and go. So we look down to reduce lag, obviously. And yeah, so look down to reduce lag. Pay attention to the minimap so that you know when the King Leviathan has spawned. And yeah, that is how we do Sarathos. So for the first mission, don't worry too much about the mine clip. Your priority is getting rid of the Leviathans. Practice the air swing a lot. Practice hyperstacks a lot. This level is going to put your skills to the test. And speaking of levels that put your skills to the test,